You've probably heard the case for reparations. But did you know that for centuries, rich nations like the United States and France have enforced reverse reparations on formerly colonized nations? In 1804, for instance, the Haitian Revolution made history by building the first Black republic in the Americas. The enslaved people fought for their freedom and won the independence of Haiti. But instead of paying reparations to the formerly enslaved, France demanded payment for lost labor, and Haiti.
They certainly had some balls, I'll give them that. Like, you get your ass whooped in the field. So what you do is you basically put the island under blockade and be like, yeah, you guys liberated yourselves, whoop-de-fucking-do. Mind you, this was a country that had just made a revolution against a monarchy, a tyrannical monarchy, and here you basically have them behaving in the same fashion towards their formerly enslaved people. This is why you can't fucking trust colonizers. No matter how much they talk about liberté, fraternité, égalité, all that bullshit. That's only for white folks, okay? Liberty, equality, brotherhood, that's only for white folks. The French basically continued to treat the Haitians as slaves. This is why you cannot trust colonizers. Same thing with the fucking United States. All that bullshit they talk about liberty and justice for all men are created equal, all white men are created equal. And even at the inception of this country, they treated certain categories of white men like absolute fucking dog shit. Like, you couldn't even vote in this country unless you had unless you had access to a substantial amount of property. That's how these people treat each other. So how the fuck do you think they're going to treat us? They do not give a fuck.
Haiti had to take on a crippling independence debt, estimated somewhere between 21 to 30 billion US dollars in today's money. That story is repeating itself in Zimbabwe today. When the British first colonized Zimbabwe, then called Southern Rhodesia, it was 1890. The British colonial government seized fertile lands from the Africans and gave them away to the white settler families.
This is why I laugh when people talk about the settler working class, especially in Africa. Like, there was no settler working class in Rhodesia. There was no settler working class in Kenya. These people did not go to these countries to work. There were no, like, they would literally import people from other colonies. Like, they imported a shitload of Indians to Uganda, who Idi Amin ended up getting kicked out. You know the guy that's running for mayor, the DSA guy that's running for mayor in New York City? He was actually born in Uganda. Zoran Mamdani? Yeah. Because, like, the Brits did not want to build the railroads themselves, so they brought a bunch of Indians from, I believe, Gujarat to build the railroads, because these people were absolutely allergic to manual labor in the savannah. It was bad for their health, they thought. So yeah, they figured, let's just import other hot weather people down here. And the Indians ended up becoming basically a middleman class. They ended up being the people that owned a lot of the shops, tailors, basically like petty capitalists. And there were contradictions between the indigenous Africans and the Indian migrants, and Idi Amin ended up expelling a bunch of them in like 1971, I believe. Yeah, really shitty.
Established what was called native reserves that were completely barren and made it illegal for the local Africans to own land beyond.
Imagine being restricted from owning land on your own land. Like, your people have lived here for thousands of years, and here comes some white folks saying that, yep, you guys can't own land anymore unless you're in this fucking barren fucking shithole ass desert. Like, that's enough to make anybody crash out. Like, white folks don't understand like how much unnecessary bullshit we have been through because of y'all. And it's hilarious. They're like, oh, you can't just denounce a settler working class. Yes, the fuck we can. Like, y'all had no business here in the first place. How the fuck you going to go to Kenya and be like, you know what? We're going to tell you guys what to do. That's enough to make anybody fucking crash out. That's enough to make anybody fucking mau.
These established native reserves. Returning the land to the people became central to the Zimbabwean national liberation struggle, which won its independence in 1980, nearly 100 years later, and a contrite Britain promised to fund that land reform. But these promises would turn out to be hollow. And by 1997, the new Labour government in the United Kingdom abandoned any pretext of reparations.
I hate Tony Blair. I hate Tony Blair. Like, a lot of liberals in the United States admire this dude. Like, he literally dragged Britain into the Iraq War. He's basically the British version of Bill Clinton. like progressive on the face, and not even like barely progressive on the face. But when you look at his policies, when you look at the shit that he actually did, it was just fucking entire just in bullshit. Of course, Serbian comrades also hate Tony Blair because of the machinations in Yugoslavia during that period. So yeah, fuck Tony Blair.
Of Justice and the Secretary of State for International Development, Claire Schott, brazenly declared that Britain had no special responsibility for land theft.
So yeah, you're basically going to, this is basically like the cops investigating themselves and finding out that they did nothing wrong. Like, you guys stole the land, and now 20 years after independence, you guys will be like, well, we have no responsibility to the people of Zimbabwe. You both are independent now. Make the best of it, lads.
Or to support any land reform in the newly independent Zimbabwe. After waiting,
what the fuck is a Tonibble bag? So why do you all just come into my fucking chat and speak foreign languages? I don't understand. What is that? Macedonian? I don't know what that means.
Nearly 20 years for their land, ordinary Zimbabweans, frustrated citizens.
Yo hablo inglés and yo hablo un poquito de español. I don't speak Balkan language. Tony Blair, and I think Bay is a term of royalty. So Viceroy Tony Blair.
And the veterans of the War of Independence began to take matters into their own hands and occupied land. This pushed the Zimbabwean government to begin expropriation of large white-owned commercial farms for redistribution. And the response? Immediate sanctions from the United States and its allies.
People really don't understand like how fucking evil and fucked up sanctions are. Like, yeah, you guys don't do what we want you all to do, so we're just going to starve the fuck out of you. Like, the sanctions on Iraq that were imposed in the 90s, like, hundreds of thousands of kids starved to death. And it's not just on military shit, it's always on food. Like, how evil do you have to be to stop people from getting food? Why would you stop people from getting medicine, gasoline, stuff like that? Like, why would you do that? I'll tell you why they do that. The idea is to make the economy scream, make the people so dissatisfied with their government, who the imperialists hope that the regular people blame for the sanctions as opposed to the colonizer. And they hope that the people rise up and topple the government. That's why the Americans, that's why the British, that's why the EU, that's why they do all this stuff.
Sanctions that cut off Zimbabwe from world trade, laws that made it mandatory for any US representative within international financial institutions like the World Bank, the IMF, any development funding organizations to oppose and vote against debt relief or loans to Zimbabwe.
So no debt release, no loans. So we're basically going to fuck your economy up, and then we're going to even forbid you from getting the horrible ass conditional loans that ruin economies in the first place. So basically, you're fucked unless you do what we tell you to do. You're fucked. They don't have to put boots on the ground anymore. They could just fucking be like, hey, yeah, don't let these people have shit. That's far more effective than putting boots on the ground anyways, because there's nobody to shoot at.
For more than 20 years, the Zimbabwean people have been at the receiving end of the collective punishment of these sanctions. The result? Mass poverty, hyperinflation, and the complete collapse of public services. And now, after years of mounting Western pressure, the Zimbabwean government has finally capitulated. It has signed the Global Compensation Deed, a $3.5 billion agreement to compensate 4,500 former white settler farmers. This money will be taken from funds desperately needed to rebuild Zimbabwe's schools, hospitals, and infrastructure. Western nations call these billions compensation, but we see.
So when are black people going to get compensation for the hundreds of years of slavery that we endured in this new world, so to speak? Like, how come y'all ain't pay that shit? Y'all are paying the fucking colonizers who were only there for like 30 or 40 years. Like, the thing with the Rhodesians is that they did not go to this place to live. They went to this place to settle and extract as much as they could before going back to the UK and purchasing a nice little country estate. That was their purpose. They did not go down there to work. They did not go down there to improve the land or any of that bullshit. They went down there to steal. And then when they couldn't steal anymore, they ran off and left. Now they're being compensated. Honestly, I would say that they were already compensated. They were compensated by not being hauled out and fucking shot as they should have been. But white folks have balls, if anything.
it for what it is: loot. It's a monstrous iteration of the same colonial injustice. Forced
The Serb knows. Reparations will happen when the American soil turns into ash and then the free world sanctions USA. As a future as a future member of parliament and the Free and Sovereign People's Republic of New Africa, I am 100% in favor of the Serbs' proposal.
Forcing the people of Zimbabwe to bear the burden of the colonizer. This isn't about Zimbabwe alone. If these reverse reparations succeed, they'll serve as a dangerous precedent, as a severe warning for those fighting for land reform and justice everywhere in the world. That is why we need to act now. Join the campaign.
Speaking of Chuck Schumer, understand there is a tour going on. I've seen this article, and they keep planting it over the last a couple of weeks in an attempt to. This is number 6 to argue that in Chuck Schumer. I saw Brian Schatz do
Chuck Schumer.
This.
Brian Schatz. Who the fuck are these people?
They're trying to argue that their
Who the fuck are these people with these weird ass German names?
Vote to empower Donald Trump and Doge a month or so.
Elon Musk claims he's leaving the White House, by the way. It's hilarious. Like, all these people wanted these, like Ramaswamy, he got so sick of it that he didn't even, I don't even think he lasted until the administration got sworn in. He fucked off to Ohio and is running for governor there. So all these people wanted these fucking positions, and they found out that governing is fucking hard. And now they're like, yeah, bye.
Month or so ago now? Was it 6 weeks ago? A month? In voting for the Republican budget, which, remember, had cuts and also essentially made it inoculated the Republican House and Senate, specifically the House, from any blowback on the tariffs. Sort of an underreported element of that bill. And Schumer's still out there saying, and this piece is in Washington Post. Chuck Schumer's listening, but he's still sure he was right. I felt
these people, why do these people keep, how old is Chuck Schumer? Like, why do these people keep getting the same positions over and over and over again? And they do absolutely fucking nothing for the common people. They do absolutely fucking nothing for regular people. They're wrong all the time. This man is an enemy of the people of Palestine. He didn't do shit while Biden was continuing to send weapons and shit over there. How are Chinese tariffs treating us? Prices are going to, see, I'm good. I'm not impacted by tariffs because I know how to fucking steal shit. Anyways. Y'all didn't hear that. I'm good. Thank you for asking, though.
I did the right thing, Schumer.
Do you have any idea, like, what the class composition of the United States Senate and the United States House are? Like, these people, these are not people from working class proletarian backgrounds. These are not people who have had to work at the fucking Dollar Tree. These are not people who have worked in factories. These are not people who have actually done any actual proletarian type labor. These are lawyers, these are doctors, and their parents by and large were lawyers and doctors as well. These people have generational wealth. These people have never suffered a day in their lives. So they live in a different world than we do. So when they talk about the common people, they're not talking about actual real people. They're talking about people that they have a conception of in their head. Like, just look at how these people interact with their constituents. If you as an average working person walk up to Chuck Schumer and try telling him about your problems, he's gonna be like, He doesn't get it instinctively. He doesn't get it in his head because he has never suffered like regular people have. Let's look up Chuck Schumer's background. Let's find out what he has done, like where he came from. Chuck Schumer. Wikipedia page. That's definitely a valid source. He's from Brooklyn. Okay. Schumer was born on November 23rd, 1950. Jesus, he's that young. In Midwood, Brooklyn, the son of Selma, née Rosen, and Abraham Schumer. His father ran an exterminating business, and his mother was a homemaker. He and his family are Jewish, and he's a second cousin, once removed, of comedian Amy Schumer. He went to public schools. Okay, so he has somewhat of a like, he's not old money, but uh yeah, he's not poor either. So yeah. But yeah, I would imagine he's an anomaly, because a lot of those people are old money.
Said of his decision to vote with the Republicans to avert a government shutdown, which infuriated Democrats. His argument was that if
my dad didn't own an exterminating business, my dad worked for AT&T.
they vote, I mean, if they voted to against approving the Republican bill, there was no way to message to the American public,
I'm the most proletarian streamer of all time because my dad worked for AT&T selling cell phones,
that this Republican bill was...
And my mom spent like 3 years of my high school in prison. So I guess I'm lumpen. I guess I'm semi-lumpen proletarian. Either way, my class card ranks higher than yours.
Garbage. And that even though Republicans control all three branches of government, that somehow Chuck Schumer would be responsible for the government shutdown, and that this would enable Trump and Musk to shut down parts of the government. Well, I mean, the government shutdown. But it would do so in such a way that people were highly aware of what was happening. I can assure you, the number of people who know right now that 1,400 of the 1,500 people who work at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau have been basically sidelined. That in 4 months,
the Trump administration has lost your boat.
Welcome back to the week.
I like you, Sam, but you're just dry.
Ken, the court losses are piling up for the Trump administration. In just the past week, the administration faced two big
nobody is pure anything.
Big legal rebukes. On Thursday, a Trump-appointed federal judge from Texas...
The thing that gets me about MSNBC, look, when I was in high school, I used to love MSNBC. I used to think Rachel Maddow was just so fucking smart and so fucking wise. This wise lesbian. I loved Rachel Maddow when I was in high school. Like, just fucking loved her. But then, like, as I got... Yes, I did see Yemen striking that big-ass ugly airport in so-called Israel. But, like, as I got more into Malcolm and more into, like, revolutionary black nationalists and Marxist readings, I started to realize that these people are just a bunch of fucking hacks. Like, I'm pretty sure she's still having a fucking crash out about Russia every night. I haven't watched their show in years. Maybe I should tonight for old time's sake, but I don't even think she's on tonight. But anyways, like, that was my early political training. So, like, yes, I was a liberal once. I'm pretty sure everybody that's a communist was a liberal once, but it's a matter of growing out of that stuff. A lot of our comrades, especially in DSA, have never grown out of our Rachel Maddow phase. They continue to engage in this fucking electoral inside baseball and all this. And come on, y'all. Like, we're literally on the verge of a civil war in this fucking country. We are literally on the verge of a big-ass whirlwind. Y'all got to get with the times, because I really don't want to see... Like, I honestly, genuinely do not want to see any of you all bleeding face down in the gutter.
Barred the administration from using the Alien Enemies
Well, you're fucking Yugoslav. You are an anomaly. You're not an American.
Act to deport Venezuelans it deemed to be criminals from the Southern District of Texas, claiming that the use of the statute by the White House was illegal. Then on Friday, another federal judge blocked Trump's executive order targeting law firm Perkins.
This is why Trump is crashing out on judges.
Cooey, calling the president's efforts, quote, an unprecedented attack on the U.S. judicial system and, quote, unconstitutional. Joining me now are the co-hosts of the Main Justice podcast, Andrew Weissman, former FBI general counsel, and Mary McCoy.
You're at the fucking FBI, bro. This is why I hate MSNBC. This is why I hate MSNBC. That protesting AOC shit was so embarrassing, guys. Come on, you guys. What the fuck? This is what happens when you push the wrong button. You could say that she was maybe wrong to tell everyone that Biden was tirelessly working for a ceasefire, which I can agree she was. Like, okay, if AOC fancies herself a socialist, like, why are you falling for this? Why do you allow yourself to be manipulated like this? Why every fucking day, every other fucking day, you got your fucking weasel ass face skinning and grinning next to this dude. Like, you were basically his surrogate. You were not in opposition. If somebody uses you as a surrogate, you are not in opposition. But this weirdness that some on the left have with her is fast, obsessive, and disturbing. I'm not obsessed with AOC. I just don't like the fact that she continues to be paraded as a socialist, which she's obviously not. What's Serbian? Oh, yeah, I don't know what any of this nonsense means. 9,000 kad serce zabole. I don't know what that means. Vedete okvirne. I don't speak Serbian. And the claims that AOC hasn't called out what's happening in Gaza. What the point is? Look, all y'all talk about power. Calling out is not power. If I see somebody getting kicked to death in front of me, I can be like, yo, hey, stop. No, that's wrong. It's not nice to kick people. But if I don't actually do something to stop it, I'm basically no more good than the person that's doing the kicking. How is it benefiting the kickee for me to stand up and be like, hey, that's bad. You should stop. That she hasn't acknowledged that it's a genocide? She has. She has said it on the floor of Congress. Okay, and then she turned around and denounced Palestinian protesters, my friends, and organizations like Palestinian Youth Movement as anti-Semites. She has not been a pretty good ally for the Palestinian people. If she was a good ally for the Palestinian people, she would not be getting protested. I never heard of Cori Bush being protested. Of course, there are also the same people who like to call Rashida Tlaib a Zionist and say she's a traitor. She's not. I've never heard anybody call Rashida Tlaib a Zionist. Some of you all don't actually care about Palestinians. So you're saying that Palestinians do not care about Palestinians. You're just using them for your own personal benefit. That is exactly what AOC is doing. That's exactly what Jamal Bowman is doing. The people that protested Jamal Bowman on the eve of his primary were Palestinian and their allies. See, you can divide every movement into two. What liberals do is they take their favorite. AOC actually does not get any APAC money. She's good on that trend. In that regard, she's good. But in everything else, she's bad. So you can divide one into two. There are some Palestinians who dig AOC. There are a lot of Palestinians who do not dig AOC. What liberals do is they take the Palestinians that dig AOC, that like AOC, and they portray them as being the sensible people in the Palestinian community. Whereas they portray comrades like Nordine Kiswani as being insane psychopaths. That's the same shit they did with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement. Do not let the enemy, or those who are aligned with the enemy, split up our movement. Do not let them take advantage of internal contradictions to play for their own little political benefit. That's wrong. There will be no revolution if these people are leading shit. There's not going to be no revolution anyways, because people like y'all continue to exist. For there to be a hope of a revolution in this country, you all have to be destroyed as a political force, both liberals and the reactionaries, because the liberals are the brake on the revolution. You all are the ones that when we start getting swifty in the streets, you're like, oh, you can't do that. You're making us look bad. Why the fuck should a Palestinian person look at Jamal Bowman and AOC as leaders? Like, what exactly have they done to earn the confidence of the people? Nothing. They lie. They're mealy-mouthed. They talk out of two sides of their mouths at the same time. You all are the reason why there's not going to be a revolution yet in this country. And then you don't even know what a revolution is. A revolution is a violent overthrow of one class by another. So if you're a true revolutionary and then you're turning around talking about how Bernie Sanders and AOC are going to be leaders, you don't know what revolution is. Bernie Sanders does not want a violent revolution. AOC does not want a violent revolution. Jamal Bowman does not want a violent revolution. They believe that you can still work with and be part of the capitalist class while also calling yourself a democratic socialist. That's what they believe. That's what these people believe. So if you believe at and look at these people as leadership, you are not a socialist. You are not a communist. You are not in anything. You're nothing. That's what this is. A big, fat fucking nothing. George W. Bush apparently believed that Iraq and Afghanistan were singled out in end times prophecy. In a 2003 phone call to French President Jacques Chirac, Bush appealed to their common Christian faith as basis for the invasion. Gog and Magog are at work in the Middle East. Okay, so I guess Gog is the United States and Magog is France. This confrontation is willed by God, who wants to use this conflict to erase his people's enemies before a new age begins. Chirac, a Roman Catholic, promptly asked his staff to call the French Federation of Protestants and find out what... Wow, they didn't slaughter all of the Huguenots? Jesus. The more I learn about white Appalachians, the more I think that they can actually like play a heavy role in the revolution. Like these people are basically bootleggers. Like I would much rather deal with the crew of hillbillies than a crew of fucking like a crew of fucking white downwardly mobile yuppies, because at least the hillbillies know that fuck the police is like valid.
Outside his vehicle,
so yesterday, this dude, no, day before yesterday, I'm not sure, but either way, this dude allegedly ran over a cop. Why? Because his son was murdered by a police officer. More. Let him go.
Traffic, ultimately ending his life. Now, the defense explained that.
And people are like, oh, why a random cop? Look, pig is a pig. They all go, they're all pink. They're all useless. They'll all murder you and your children. Fuck them.
This has been an emotionally charged week for Hinton after his son was killed by that Cincinnati police officer on Thursday. Meanwhile, Hinton is going to be held at the Claremont County Jail. He was outside his vehicle.
Yeah, he allegedly like just smashed his car into this cop, and this dude needs to get every ounce of support that Luigi got. Like you all giving this rich white kid all this money, now you got this working class black proletarian parent. He needs the same support. And I'm not saying that I do not like Luigi. I do not support Luigi. I'm not saying anything like that. But like y'all got plenty of time for these rich white people that crash out. I don't even think what Luigi did was a crash. I don't even think Luigi did it. But it was the notion of, yes, that is the father of the kid that the Gestapo murdered yesterday. But it's the notion that what Luigi allegedly did, which he probably didn't do. It's the notion that everybody has fucking has had a contradiction with the health insurance company. Yeah, that was dope. But like, this is something like the police in the black communities are a primary contradiction. It's something that needs to be handled. And you all love us when Schumer went to the same high school as Bernie Sanders. I did not know that. But like, you all love us when we're talking about commie shit. But when we're on black folk shit, like when we're actually seeking vengeance, then you all know where to be found. So how can you help Mr. Hinton? His Securus ID is 270-547-50810. This is on my page if you want to look that up. But you can show support even in some small ways. It takes only a few minutes to download Securus, transfer him some stamps, put money on his phone or commissary or anything. So yeah, do that. And yes, the leadership are all followers of the donor class. I'm so sick of these fucking people. Who is making this shit? Who makes this shit? Like, bruh. Do I believe that the revolution in the USA will be a war of national liberation by the oppressed nations? Yes. I don't think I do not think that it will be a classic like a classic class war. It's certainly going to have a lot of racial elements. That's sad, but that's objectively how it is. One thing that Marxists have to do is look reality in the face. And in the process of looking reality in the face, we have to acknowledge that, yes, in this country, race and class are intertwined. So I mentioned a couple days ago that I'm reading Zora Neale Hurston's Of Mules and Men. Why? Because I saw Settlers last Saturday. Settlers. I see Settlers every fucking day. I saw Sinners. I think this is the second time I've made this fucking stupid ass mistake. I saw Sinners last last week, and it was dope. You should go see it. I'm not going to spoil it for you because spoilers suck. But yeah, it talks a lot about this book that I'm reading, Zora Neale Hurston's Of Mules and Men, talks a lot about hoodoo, about black folklore, and all that jazz. So this is something that I found compelling and also true. Folklore is not as easy to collect as it sounds. The best source is where there are the least outside influence, and those people, usually being underprivileged, are the shyest. They are the most reluctant at times to reveal that which the soul lives by. And the Negro, in spite of his open-faced laughter, his seeming acquiescence is particularly evasive. You see, we are a polite people, and we do not say to our questioner, "Get out of here." We smile and tell him or her something that satisfies the white person, because knowing so little about us, he doesn't know what he is missing. The Indian, the indigenous person, resists curiosity through stony silence. The Negro, however, offers a feather bed resistance. That is, we let the probe enter, but it never comes out. It gets smothered under a lot of laughter and pleasantries. The theory behind these tactics: the white man is always trying to know somebody else's business. All right, I'll set something outside the door of my mind for him to play with and handle. He can read my writing, but he sure can't read my mind. I'll put this toy in his hand and he will seize and go away. Then I'll say my say and sing my song. It bears a lot of resemblance to Sartre's intro to Wretched of the Earth, where he describes his perspective of the text as a European overhearing a conversation by non-Europeans around the fire. This is why it always kills me when white people act like they know us. Like, we had to know y'all because it's a matter of life and death. If you don't know your enemy, if you don't know the people who enslave you, then you're fucked. But y'all don't know us. Like, we are never going to tell y'all our truest thoughts, because you all are going to take those thoughts and use them against us. So we don't tell y'all shit. So this is what I don't even know why people keep going to Dubai, because Dubai, for one, is tacky. Half those buildings don't even have running fucking water. Like, they're literally just throwing up these huge ass buildings to impress the Guinness Book of World Records and stupid motherfuckers like y'all. But the Emiratis are responsible for a lot of evil shit in North Africa and the Middle East. Like, they played a major role in the development of the rapid support forces, and whatever they called them, in Sudan. So this is what the Emiratis are doing now. After the defeat of their proxies, this is what they're doing. More bombings, more drone strikes. If you go to Dubai, if you participate in that stupid Dubai chocolate trend, this is what you're funding. This is what you're enabling. This is what they just did to the last functioning airport after their mercenary group, the RSF, completely destroyed Khartoum, the capital of northern Sudan. People are so very clearly starved for death, meaning, and provocation in their lives. They seek it from celebrities. They desperately want their favorite so-called artists to be anything but vapid, soulless, and walking, talking advertisements for transnational corporations. That is very true. And yes, if I recall correctly, the United Arab Emirates, the Emiratis, also played a heavy role in Ethiopia during the Tigray War. Basically, everywhere in East Africa and North Africa where people are getting genocided and fucked over, the Emiratis have their fucking hands in it. A DSA medical / disaster relief / community defense brigade called the Wide Awakes would go so hard now that woke is a cultural boogeyman, and we're on the road to another civil war. I would sign a resolution like that. Like, any resolution that actually gets us prepared for what's coming, I back. All this other electoral bullshit, later for that. That shit's 5 years ago. White leftists hate Marcus Garvey and the Nation of Islam, but love quoting the Panthers. It's like they don't understand the legacy of the black radical tradition. They don't. See, here's how white leftists relate to us, okay? When we die, they love it because it shows that their little revolutionary thingy is still going. That's what it shows to them. It shows that, oh, these people, they believe what we believe. Okay. But they don't bother to study. They don't have to study, they figure. They don't have to study about us. All they figure is that the Panthers will call it nigger to pull the trigger syndrome. They don't want to go out and fight. They don't want to go out and die. They don't want to bleed. White people, for some reason, think that their hides and their lives are more or special. They think that Palestinians should fight to the last drop of blood, but they over here, How many people in this country have actually made a sacrifice for the Palestinian people? You had Aaron Bushnell, who literally burned himself alive trying to teach these dumb motherfuckers, and they still didn't get it. They're still talking about ALC. They're still trying to wish cast a 2028 presidential election. They do not care. They feel that they are above sacrifice. They want to keep their six-figure jobs. They want to keep their little bullshit-ass union jobs. That's what they want to do. Fuck Lockheed Martin workers going out on strike when they're being fucked with, but they ignored. And I know that some of them read that call. They ignored the call of the Palestinian trade unionists to walk out on strike. Why? Because they don't give a shit about Palestine. No matter how much Sean Fain bullshits, he does not care. Why the fuck are you organizing for a general strike in a few years? You should be organizing for a general strike now. The 10-point program of the Panthers came from the Nation of Islam. The Panthers also said they were carrying on the legacy of Garvey. If we try to like develop a linear like analysis, okay, you've got Garvey, you got Marcus Garvey, who was a contemporary of W.B. Du Bois. Then you have Garvey, then you have Malcolm X. Malcolm X's father was literally a Garveyite organizer. Okay, so you take Malcolm X, you cannot separate Malcolm X from the Garveyite tradition. You cannot separate the Nation of Islam from the Garveyite tradition. All of this shit traces back to Garvey. It was Garvey who first said, up your mighty race, you can accomplish what you will. So anytime you talk about revolutionary black nationalism, and a lot of people forget, they try to pigeonhole the Black Panther Party into Marxism-Leninism or Marxism-Leninism Maoism based on aspects of speeches that Fred Hampton or this or that other leader said. No. The Black Panther Party was firmly in the black radical tradition. They started out as revolutionary black nationalists. Of course, they also developed intercommunalism after Huey was released from prison, but they never really were firmly in any Western leftist ideological tradition. They were extremely eclectic. Like, they even had a Juche phase. So, the comrade, Rakim Shabazz, I went on his show. Very nice brother. They may be able to quote Marx like the back of their hand, but that's not enough. They do not have any uncles or aunts that clean themselves up by joining the Nation of Islam. Like, the Nation of Islam has gotten so many black people off heroin, it's not even funny. It was a time every black person that went into prison came out as a Muslim, or at least conversed in Muslim ideology. And yes, in the community, when we talk about Muslims, we're talking about the NOI, the Nation of Islam, usually. But like, how many people in this country have communists cleaned up off heroin? Zero, zilch, nada. They didn't grow up with pictures of Garvey on the wall and philosophy and opinions on the bookshelves. A lot of them know Marx, but they don't know a damn thing about black and brown folks. And then when we try to tell them like some smattering of why their shit's not working, they get mad at us and call us race essentialists. This woman needs to be fucking hanging. Like, I'm so fucking sick of seeing her ugly fucking tweaker face. Like, this lady has received almost $500,000. But yeah, lecture us some more about the white proletariat. Lecture us some more, because not all of these donations are coming from rich white people. You've got a lot of mechanics, you've got a lot of regular ass white folks with working class jobs that are donating to this lady because they love the fact that she called a 5-year-old black autistic boy the N-word. I don't even like, I have no words. Like, you want to lecture us about the virtues of the white proletariat? We see this shit every day. Do you know Mary Copeny, Little Miss Flint? They literally called this girl an N-word bitch. A slur, a misogynistic slur, and a racial slur. For what? For nothing. This girl tries to help her community. Somebody broke into a storage unit a few months ago. But how many of them have donated to Little Miss Flint? No, because they don't care. They don't give a shit about black people. The way black people are able to embrace foreign cultures instead of our own needs to be studied. We'll be the loudest Muslims, the loudest Marxists, the most calm Buddhists, but let it be something of African origins. All of a sudden, we shunning it away or in the closet with it. I'm a black Marxist, and I love my Africanness. Like most black Marxists, no, all black Marxists that I know, we embrace our Africanness, and we are constantly creatively trying to work on ways to blend African theory, African thought with our Marxism. Because no, we're definitely not going to just take raw Marxism and import it into our communities, because our communities are going to see it as something foreign. So no, that's not going to work. Here's an example: free the land, the Republic of New Africa. This is an example of blending Marxism, particularly the right to political succession, with the aspirations of the black community. Granted, this is old. This is from like this forum was held in 1982. What is my opinion on the new Black Panther Party? The new Black Panther Party is a misogynistic, shitty, hateful group of people. The new African Black Panther Party is dope. It's a very like, why would you leave out Birmingham and Atlanta? Like, there were very, very few white folks up here. Then you've got like we get North Florida. This shit down here belongs to the Cubans and Haitians. So yeah, we're not taking the Keys. We're not taking Miami. Arkansas, shit, we get all of Arkansas, all of Tennessee, all of North Carolina. What North St. Louis DSA meeting tonight? Look, I'm on the executive committee. I know ain't no DSA meeting tonight. You mean last weekend? There was a DSA meeting last Sunday, but I don't meetings upon meetings upon meetings upon meetings upon meetings. Ugh. Y'all are killing me with these meetings. But no, probably not. Here's the thing. When you're in DSA, you do not have to attend all of the meetings. Oh, you mean the Socialist Workers Summit? Is that what you're talking about? No. I'm not going to that. But back to New Africa. All of Virginia. Kentucky, I guess we can see Kentucky and West Virginia to the Appalachians. Southern Ohio too. Like I imagine Cincinnati is going to end up being the capital of Appalachia. We get all of Georgia. Sí, Padrecito, all of Louisiana. No, I'm not going. Besides, the thing is almost over anyways. You all know they used to literally eat us? They used to literally eat us. The delectable Negro. Human consumption and a homoeroticism within U.S. slave culture. Like when Nat Turner died, they literally took this dude's fat and grease and melted it down, and they made medicinal ointment out of it. You think the revolution will succeed if the oppressed nations form alliance, and they must all be led by the same communist Marxism, Leninism, Maoism, Gonzalo thought party. You had me there. You had me until the Gonzalo thought. What if some nations want to live in their own countries? What if they hold different values or live in different ways? That's their prerogative. Everybody has the right to succeed. Everybody has the right to political succession, except white people. Dubai is fake, yes. It's like Las Vegas, except even more restrictive. Did you know that Huey Newton was named after Huey P. Long? Huey Long? Yeah. And named after the crypto-fascist weirdo. Whiteness is a dangerous concept. It's not about skin color. It's not even about race. It's about the willful blindness used to justify white supremacy. It's about using moral rhetoric to defend exploitation, racism, mass murder, reigns of terror, and the crimes of empire. Of course they can choose that, comrade, but I don't think it would be wise. What the fuck do you know about being wise? Like you read a bunch of books and now you are like the heir of some ancient wisdom. You know exactly how to make a revolution. What fucking revolution have you made? What makes you think you're so wise? Hmm? Gonzalo failed. So why would you consider it wisdom to impose upon people in a radically different context the thought of the motherfucker that failed? Why would you do that? Like, do you want to see us dead? Is that the thing? My God. Everybody wants to be like, oh, well, this is what you must do. This is what, well, you know what, you know what, you know what, no. You know how you can prove that you're right? Go try it. Go try. Like, what the fuck are you talking to everybody else for? You want somebody else to die to test your theory? Go try it. Go try it out. Come back, report 15 years from now. See what happened. God, y'all are just fucking wild. It failed here, but it'll definitely fail. It'll definitely work now. Like, bruh, I don't know where you all, like, where do you all get off on this? What is the oldest ever spoken language? Let's see.
Have you ever wondered what the oldest language ever spoken would have sounded like? The problem with that is the oldest ever attested languages only go back like 6,000 years ago, so we're kind of never going to really know. But what if we could go further back than that? Well, I introduce you guys.
Why does this guy look like a fucking Neanderthal? Oh, Grog was there. Grog knows original spoken language of human being.
To Proto-Afro-Asiatic. So this is a hypothetical language that was probably spoken between 12 and 14,000 years ago. And the interesting thing is, this language would have been spoken during the Ice Age. How crazy is that? So you're probably wondering, how was this language
Grog was an Ice Age. Grog spoke language. I spoke Proto-Afro-Asiatic.
constructed? Well, the same way you reconstruct languages with normal comparative linguistic methods. And these languages are created by using attested languages or
They thought out Grok and sent Grok to Georgia Tech University.
known languages,
They study me. I know my language.
and then using many to reconstruct
I should stop roasting, dude. He's teaching us very, very necessary things.
a hypothetical proto or mother language.
Alright, here's an example. We know that English is a Germanic language. That means that it is on the Germanic branch of the Indo-European languages. Let's take the word apple in English. In German, apple is Apfel, so using comparative linguistic patterns for the Germanic languages, we can actually reconstruct a Proto-Germanic word for the word for apple. So Proto-Germanic would refer to the ancestral
You worked in Philly at the Wait, Garveyites are still around?
language of all
Holy shit.
the Germanic languages, that is, the mother language of English and of German. Now keep in mind that Proto-Germanic is not attested in writing, so we know that it historically existed, although there's no record of it in writing. So that reconstructed word is applause or applause. And notice that there is an asterisk before the word, so usually that asterisk or star is used to denote a hypothetical reconstructed word that is not attested in writing or historically. So a method just like this has been done for many, many different languages. If you are interested in learning more about
Hear my opinion on what?
this, I definitely recommend looking into Proto-Indo-European. So this language probably would have been spoken around 3000, 4000 BC, and it's actually the mother language of all the Indo-European
You want to see me talk about aliens? Well, this guy is obviously half alien and half Neanderthal.
languages.
Maybe you should hear him talk about aliens.
Actually, I'm going to make a separate video on that one. Alright, so now let's move on to what this video is actually about, and that is the Proto-Afro-Asiatic language. So the Afro-Asiatic languages are spoken from the Middle East all the way to Africa. You've probably heard of many Afro-Asiatic languages. The most common Afro-Asiatic languages, or the most popular ones, are actually the Semitic languages. So those are your languages such as Arabic, Hebrew, Amharic, and Ethiopia. So your earliest attested Afro-Asiatic languages would be Ancient Egyptian, which was first attested around 3200 BC. And then after that, Akkadian, which is a Semitic language, first attested around 2400 BC. But keep in mind though, that for a language to be fully independent from its neighbors, it would take thousands and thousands of years of linguistic evolution. And that is why linguists will give it an estimation of about 12 to 14,000 years ago, like I said, which was during the Ice Age. So now let's take a look into some Proto-Afro-Asiatic phrases. If you're familiar with Arabic or Hebrew, then some of these words might look familiar to you. Also, I apologize in advance if I butcher the pronunciation or the grammar. If you're an expert in Afro-Asiatic linguistics or a Paleolithic farmer, please leave a comment below how I can improve.
Bro, why are you playing in our faces? You're a Paleolithic farmer.
So we have bish, which means skin. This is similar to the Arabic word bashra or the Hebrew word basar for flesh. Next we have dim or dam, which means blood. This is just like the Arabic word and the Hebrew word. Next we have sar or sir, which means root. This is similar to the Arabic word for root, shirish, or the Hebrew word shoresh. Then we have or ak, which means water. Now the first one could be related to the Arabic word and the Hebrew word for water, and that is mai or ma in Arabic, as well as the Hebrew word for water, maim. Then we have hlih. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but that would mean moon. And next we have siu, which means sunlight or daylight. And keep in mind that the words that we have in Proto-Afro-Asiatic are very simple words, because you have to think in 10,000 BC, we didn't have inventions such as wheels or tools. Everything was very, very basic.
All right, let's go over some basic pronouns. So we have
No, not the pronouns.
anaku, which means I am. This is similar to the Arabic ana, Hebrew ani, and identical to the Akkadian anaku. Then for you are, we have ent. This is identical to the Arabic enta. In Hebrew, we actually omit the n, so it's just at. Then for he is, we have si. So we actually don't have this in Hebrew or Arabic, although I have seen it attested in Akkadian and Ugaritic, so mostly ancient languages. And lastly, we have the demonstrative, such as this, that, and this would just be the H or the ha. And this is similar to the Hebrew word for the, so ha, or the Arabic this, that, hada, hadahi. So the first phrase we have is ma shumka. And this is very similar to the Arabic phrase, classical Arabic, shu ismak, ma ismak.
I was just made aware of the fact that during the whole history of communism in Nepal, there are at least 78 communist parties. There's a communist party in every valley, basically, because Nepal is not a huge country. The smaller a country is, that's like San Marino having 20 communist parties. There's a communist party for every person in the fucking country. Why hasn't Italy taken over San Marino, by the way? Like, it's right there. Why hasn't France swallowed up Monaco?
Or
they're literally right fucking there. What are they going to do? Call on their allies? Call on their allies to come beat your ass or something? Absorb them.
Hebrew, mashimcha. And to that, you would respond, anaku, shummi ali. So another phrase we could say, afi ghal, which means
Afiral.
my mouth is dry. Just a random sentence. I can actually tell some cognates right here, so it resembles the classical Arabic word thumb for mouth, or peh in Hebrew, the word for mouth, as well as Akkadian pum. And if someone's mouth is dry, what do you tell them? You tell them to eat something. Ma'tsim, which means
France uses Monaco as a tax haven. Interesting.
eat a fruit. So if you were to go in a time machine back to 10,000 BC.
Oh, thank you, caveman. That's very smart. Very smart, caveman. People think that cavemen are stupid, but he's very smart. He's taught us something.
Welcome back.
He was nice enough to teach us something about his language. That's very cool. Thank you.
Shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
I need to get back to making TikTok videos. Huh. Well, they seem pretty harmful to me. They seem pretty non-harmful. So, more power to them. Japan's population is shrinking. Maybe y'all should get to fucking. Like, all of these people's countries are like, y'all can't have any, y'all can have kids. Y'all just don't want to have kids. Y'all don't want to fuck. What happens when 100 people fight a gorilla?
Okay, guys, I know that we have a lot of fun here on the channel together, but today, I need you guys to lock in.
Nope, this guy looks annoying as hell. I don't be on YouTube like that. This guy looks annoying as hell. What is Sinners about? America's inability to discuss its complex racial history without bringing the Irish into things. And the funny thing about Remick is, like, he's like a vampire from Ireland in the 500s, like pre-Catholic Ireland. Like, dude has seen some shit. This is the John Fetterman. Everybody knows and loves. Like, this guy literally chased the dude out of his town. Chased him into North Braddock and pulled a shotgun and aimed it at a dude's chest. Japan's population could double easily if they stopped hating immigrants. That is true. How are black people treated in Japan? I wonder. Something about YouTube. I imagine there's a YouTube video or two about that. Black in Japan. I heard they either think they were all basketball players or karaoke experts.
Have you guys faced any discrimination based on your skin color?
I've had homies that have been harassed physically on the trains.
Really?
I'm telling you, the train is like 90% of the drama.
Right, the train. Today, I'm going to be talking to two of my black friends about their experiences living in Japan. Japan is a homogenous society, so some Japanese people may not be used to seeing people of different nationalities or skin complexions. So I'm going to be asking them and seeing if they face any challenges or any hardships. As always, thank you guys so much for supporting my videos, and make sure to follow my Instagram for the behind the scene contents. Now, let's get right into it.
Japan still has a larger population than Britain. Good, we don't need any more Brits in the world.
Alright, so thank you guys so much for joining. So can we get a quick intro?
So my name is Oluranti. I'm originally come from London, UK. I've been here for about a year and a half now, teaching English in a kindergarten, a Yorchen. I know it's a super stereotypical job as a foreigner, but it is what it is. I'm enjoying it so far.
My name is Brian. I'm from California, United States. I've been in Tokyo for only about 9 months. Before that, I lived in Kanagawa for a year, and I've been in Okinawa for almost 4 years. So it's about more than 5 years in Japan at this point. I'm not an English teacher, I do IT. You know what I'm saying? So if your phone broke, holla at me. But that's pretty much it, yeah.
All right, well, let's go explore a city then.
Let's make it happen, man.
All right, let's go.
Romance was to the hours, and outdoor paradise for two.
So, what do you guys like the most about Japan?
One, first and foremost, Japan is one of the most safest countries I've ever lived in. Mate, like I don't lock the doors at night. I go out, I know nothing's gonna get stolen. You know, it's nice to have that sense of security.
I love meeting people from other countries. We got a UK man right here. How Japanese have, you know what I mean? Like, where I come from, I can meet somebody who's, you know, this and that, but for the most part, it's always your ethnicity or your nationality, but there's an American behind it. African American, you know what I mean? You can be Mexican American. It's interesting meeting people from like their actual countries here. I had to get, you know, that experience is crazy, man, and that is the thing. I actually can say I love that about Tokyo. I love it.
Right, because
Okinawa 4 years equals American forces. Oh boy.
I was surprised to see so many foreigners, especially in Tokyo, and like I see a lot of mixed kids too.
Again, Nigeria, like I never thought I'd meet half that.
Because black folks got that riz.
That's one of the first things I heard when I first came to Tokyo, actually, is that there's a big Nigerian diaspora out here. Japan is globally recognized for is their fashion, their style, man. Like, surrounded by so many people who are just so on point with the way that they dress. Like, it's really a thing for them. Like, they curate their own style. I really appreciate that, being someone who's into clothing myself.
Okay. Now, what do you dislike the most about Japan?
Well, the working culture.
Oh yeah, they will literally work your ass to death over there. Let's see if there's any responses to my... Oh, one guy wants to curb stomp me to death. Why? You fat, ugly, cross-eyed. My eyes don't cross. I'm not fat. I'm not ugly. Why is fat the average default American leftist insult? Like, bro, we're all fucking fat. They literally used to build the tunnels in Vietnam narrow on purpose so we would get stuck in them. Like, go to Japan, we're all basically fucking giants. Nazi, Maoist, invalid LARPer. What is wrong? Like, you people need to get medicated. Like, Friday, religion is awesome. I did not say that religion is awesome. I said that we should acknowledge that billions of people in the world are religious. We need to pretend religion is real. Religion is real. Okay? People are picking up guns, killing each other over religion. That makes it real. So far-right religious reactionaries, I did not say that we want far-right religious reactionaries to like us. If you're a settler, being the wrong type of Marxist will not save you in the revolution. I did not say that. Sunday, I love that. Bro, you need help. You need serious fucking help. Cedar, pine wood. Or you could just, I don't know. The left in this country, I've noticed, like, needs to take their meds. It's X. Of course, I get unhinged replies. But, I don't know. People are just fucking, just insane.
So
look, it should be a rule. Like, before you get involved in leftist politics, you need to, like, if you have something awry up here, you need to get it treated. Like, because people are not going to take you seriously if you're going around talking about how you want to curb stop random black Maoists for saying things that you disagree with. Like, political violence because somebody says something, some other leftist says something that you disagree with, that is not okay, especially black people.
Work as an English teacher, and most of the time I found myself cleaning. I have to clean like my boss's garden.
Really?
I have to clean the streets that is adjacent to his house, and it's just like, and I understand the culture behind it, which is of, you know, taking care of your own space, of your own area.
Right. Yeah, the work-life balance is not the best here in Japan. I hear that a lot.
And you mentioned rules as they pertain to your job. But Japan also has a lot of societal rules that people might not really know about.
Right.
I was kind of going off willy-nilly doing my own thing and kind of have to learn on my own that, like, yo, there's certain things you got to do, there's certain things you got to say and move in order to kind of keep that respect, that mutual respect that everyone has in Japan. I'm from around San Francisco and Cali, man. Nobody cares about anything over there. These things are unspoken, man. They're not. No one's gonna ever tell you. It's almost you gotta learn by yourself. Like, oh, I'm not supposed to stand here on this certain type of way. I'm not supposed to do this on the train or that on the.
Would I consider Maryland, Eastern Pennsylvania, South New York, and New York City as New Africa? New York City is so diverse. I think there'll be problems if we try to, like, arrogate it unto New Africa. I imagine I imagine New York City would end up being like a neutral zone or something like that. Like, it's too big, there's too many people there, and it's gonna be fought over.
Train, and most of it really applies on the train, right?
There's a lot of it. Train etiquette, bro. Train etiquette.
The train etiquette.
Like, you didn't really think there would be, but like no talking on the train. You can't be on the phone.
You guys stand out, right?
Know, man,
we stand out like crazy, but like people moving away from me. that's wild.
Good, move the fuck away from me. Like, why do people always act like this is a bad thing? Yeah, move you. Man, you afraid my blackness is going to rub up on you? Well, my brownness is going to rub off on you. Yeah, move the fuck away from me. We're in a crowded fucking Tokyo subway train, bro. Yes, move the fuck away from me and give me all of the space. That's your problem, not mine.
Alright, so now we ended up here in Meiji Shrine. So, do you guys have any funny stories here in Japan that you guys can share with us?
Shibuya Meltdown. Instagram page, but like when you see it.
Do you see it in real life?
Dude, every time I'm in Shibuya and I'm coming home, it doesn't have to be 5 in the morning after Roppongi. It could be like 11 p.m., you know, before the last train. These folks is out, man. In the most precarious positioning, man.
And they're all wearing a shirt and like a nice suit, and you know,
they're looking like they got off work, man.
They'll be like a 3-piece suit, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like alligator skin, python skin,
like that.
Yo, looking fresh. I saw one man.
They'll be doing some next pose, like some sort of yogic.
You ain't passing out in America like that, bro. Like, you'll wake up and be fucking naked. Like, they'll have took all them expensive ass clothes off you. You just laying with your head. Is that a fucking... You just laying with your head and it looks like a trash receptacle. Like, bro, them motherfuckers will rob your ass over here. You can only do that shit in Japan.
Pose, like their head is lying on the back of the seat and they're propping their whole body up. It's just like, how does that work?
It's really not just one, but I think the funniest thing I see consistently is these folks just out drunk, just done in the middle of Shibuya on a train. Nuts.
Well, are you guys hungry?
Oh, definitely.
There are black K-pop idols now. Well, that's not surprising because, like, we kind of did introduced them to the basic foundations of that ended up becoming K-pop. K-pop is just Korean R&B.
So I'm gonna go check out some sushi place.
Hey, let's make it happen, man.
All right, let's go.
Hey. Shit, what's up? That looks fire. I would be grabbing, but I don't know what's what, you know? Itadakimasu. This is a cinnamon roll, I want to say, right? Hope it tastes like cinnamon. Ready? Let's go. Yeah, it's like a little sweet. No sauce needed. You don't even put sauce on it.
Yeah.
Cinnamon? No.
Nah.
More like a
sugar, like
a French toast almost.
Yeah.
It's like a French toast with rice. French toast with rice.
But I have to say, it ain't that bad, man. It's actually quite nice.
You know what I'm saying?
How do you like Japanese food?
Like, yeah, I love Japanese food. I think with Japanese food, it's more focused on the subtlety of taste rather than like an explosion, like pungent taste, you know?
The portions, man. Brother,
Yeah, the
let me
portions,
tell you,
man.
I'm not gonna lie. Look,
I'm glad you picked up on that one.
I'm an American gentleman. Should I give you the money? I don't think things.
But like, I think there's focus on aesthetic more than anything else.
the
You know what I
cuteness
mean?
of it,
Like
you know what I
the
mean?
way things are presented to you.
All right, so we just finished the food, so let's go outside and burn the calories. What stereotypes do you think exist amongst black people in Japan?
Can I go first? People think that I'm gonna like actually hurt them. I'm not even kidding. And somebody's not expecting me, and they'll just be like, oh!
Yeah, like within a meter of
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
Oh, like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, too close.
In
You know
Japan.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In Japan, man.
What did I say? Bikurishita.
Bikurishita.
You really have to kind of like shrink yourself. Do
So you
what I
can't
mean?
really be yourself.
But that's
be
no way to
yourself
live,
too
man.
much.
That's
Yeah.
no way to
Right.
live. You know how
It's no
like
way to live,
it takes more energy trying to please others, you know, in that way.
So much. Let's go check out other places. All right. So, have you guys faced any discrimination based on your skin color?
I got one story back in Yokohama, man. This was like a year ago.
All right, yeah.
So I hop on the subway. I was going to meet my homeboy in Yokohama. He had a little house party. Shout out to Sean. And I sit down in this like subway, you know. And I've never taken the Yokohama municipal subway before, right?
Right.
So I sit down. Everything's kind of new. It's an older train system, so it just looks wrecked.
Right.
Yeah. So I sit down and I catch this dude like right across me. He's like,
That's fucking rude. You just in a foreign country talking about how that train system is wrecked. Oh, you all want me to listen to fucking North Korean music. Oh boy. We will safeguard the leadership of the revolution with desperate courage. It is very, very bombastic and campy. And there's no fucking... Where's the captions? All their songs seem to be about war, which kind of makes sense. It would be interesting to visit North Korea solely because of the fact that it's basically a time capsule of the middle of the 20th century. Asian hip-hop head in my chat. I imagine listening to this shit over and over and over and over again would just be boring as fuck. Like it all has the same theme. This is the only North Korean song that I think isn't about war. It's about growing potatoes.
우리 마을 장수영감 감자 분배 받은 날에 생일상을 차려놓고 동네방네 청했다오. 쫄깃쫄깃 감자떡에 녹마국수 맛 좋은 꽈배기에 감자튀김 감자 자랑 하도 많아 서른을 재고서 덧갈렸어 어허허 감자 자랑 감자 자랑 많고 많아.
Which one is the potato?
감자 찰떡 꿀맛이다 할머니들 괜찮은데 아이들은 들락날락 감자엿이 제일이에.
Potato taffy? Oh my god.
많이 들고 장수하셔 장수영감.
Eating a lot of potatoes is not good for you. It's a giant ass ball of starch.
감자 술잔 피우면서 한
potato liquor.
말이 우리 세상 하도 좋아 내 고향 감자도 풍년이요 어허허 감자 자랑. 옛날에는 사람 못살 막 빠지던 이 고장비 오늘에는 당의 품에 무릉도원 되었다오. 감자 농사 많이 짓고 장수하세 아들 딸도 많이 낳아을 보세.
What the fuck is the Pop the Balloon show? They planted potatoes in the middle of corn. Who does that? North Koreans. That was very, very, very weird. But if it's a way that you can describe North Korea, it is very, very, very weird.
A middle-aged kind of Japanese guy. Right. And this is what he does, man. He looks at me like this, looks at me up and down, shakes his head, kind of goes about his way. And that was like the first time I ever kind of experienced that weird standoff type of like energy, man. That's really what it is, right? So here in Japan, no one's gonna ever walk up to you and say, "Hi, you're black, I don't like you." That's never gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. Okay.
You know, that's never gonna happen.
Okay.
But it's always the energy that's kind of
it's a passive aggressiveness.
Because there's different stares. There's the curiosity stare, right? Oh, wow, I've never seen like black guy this close. Kind of curiosity,
and then
respect,
and
right?
then there's a disgust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's one where like you kind of frown. You can tell behind the mask.
Yeah, right behind the mask.
It's like that. You know when you're throwing shade and so on, you look at them up and down. It's like
I've had homies that have been harassed physically on the trains.
Really?
I'm telling you, the train is like 90% of the drama, man.
How the fuck are you gonna let somebody harass you physically on the train and you're like 2 times bigger than these people, bro?
It's like a sitcom in the train, man, with the laughing box, but nobody's laughing. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's just gonna be the energy
You're a
that
big ass black dude, you're gonna let some Japanese folks bully you on the train.
will be off.
Subtle,
You know what I'm saying?
and like,
Very subtle, exactly.
subtle.
when I went to Osaka, people are a lot more friendlier. They'll actually approach you if you need help.
Hey,
I
bro.
think it's like, from what I've been told, it's a characteristic of the Kanto region.
Yeah, now let's get to the park.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I bet.
Final message for the black people that want to move to Japan.
Hey, do it.
Like with anything, man, if anything in life, it's always good to experience it. Even if the outcome of it is a bad one, there's always something to take away from it.
BPRK seems like the country equivalent of living in a funhouse with distorted mirrors.
Right.
But you gotta let them know. Make sure you do your research first, because if you come here and you don't like it,
it's on you, man.
It's on you, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, thank you guys.
If you're a loser
What is dating in Japan like?
back home, you can come here and find someone who actually thinks you're cool.
I literally had a guy in the club come up to me and he was like, "Are your nipples black?"
Because I wanted him to like choke me.
Okay.
Like
Being black in general can come with its own set of unique problems. But when it comes to Japan and its homogenous culture, what is it like to be black in the dating scene here? Make sure to check out my Instagram at JesseOJan and my YouTube membership. Now, let's get to the video. So what's your name, where you're from, and how long have you been in Japan for?
My name is Morgan. I've been in Japan for a year and a half, and I'm from the United States, specifically Alabama.
I'm from London. I lived in Japan in the past for a year, but I'm just visiting this time.
My name is Michael Denge, 23 years old. I'm from Yaoundé, Cameroon, and I've been in Japan for about 16 years now.
my name is Cameron. I'm from Georgia in the USA, and I've been in Japan for 4 years.
So have you ever been on a date with a Japanese guy?
I have. It was very interesting. I mean, I think that planning-wise, I gotta hand it to them. They do put some thought into the date.
Yeah, Yasuke, the black samurai.
They'll pick some place like Shibuya, Shinjuku, or
Right.
whatever. They'll take you around for a little bit. It's cool, that's nice. And then it gets to the conversation. As a very specific type of black person, I'm black, I'm from America, and I'm from the South. My humor, the way I talk, the stuff I laugh at is so different.
How was it like going on a date with Japanese girls?
There was a bit of tension, kind of like break the ice. Like I try not to like hold my personality back too much, because you know people out here are a bit timid.
I left 19 years of religion to be with this girl, the first girl that was willing to have with me. We went to a language exchange, kind of like an event together.
Right.
And she started acting really weird. You know, I was mingling with people, and you know, I wanted to introduce. She wanted to work on her English. She was already pretty fluent, but she wanted to just get over some social anxiety and just, you know. So I was helping her, and I was introducing myself, introducing my girlfriend, and then she went to the toilet, and she didn't come out for like 20, 30 minutes. Well, when she came out, she was just like, "I'm going home." Okay. Is everything okay? And she was just like, "Yeah, I'm just going home." It's okay. Gosh. Okay. At this point, I still don't know what's going on.
Right.
So I was walking her back to the station, and obviously me being a young guy who just wanted to make the relationship work, I was just like, you know, what did I do wrong? I'm sorry. Did I do anything wrong? Please tell me. And she was just like, you know, you don't want to talk to a weirdo like me. I'd used the word weirdo when I was talking to someone, and she seemed to be like self-deprecating herself. Who said you were a weirdo? She's just like, no, you don't want to talk to a psycho like me. I realized, wait, I did say the word psycho earlier today when talking to someone else, and I was just like, did she think that maybe I was talking about her? We got onto the train. She just went completely normal, and she was just like, yeah, so these friends that we were supposed to meet, but I just cancelled on. Where did you meet them? You know, are they? What's their names? I don't understand. She still hasn't told me what the problem was, why she was angry, and why she's gone back to normal. And she tried to give me a kiss, and I kind of flinched a little bit because I was upset with everything that happened. And she's just like, what? You're not going to give me a kiss? You know, I don't want to give you a kiss because I still don't understand what's going on. And then she's just like, okay, well, see you soon, bye. And that was the last time I ever saw her.
I went on a date with this pro jiu-jitsu fighter. He just kind of had like a bunch of people on his roster, mainly like foreigners.
I hear the Gaikokujin hunter.
Yeah, I think he was maybe one of those, but like he took me to his like jiu-jitsu gym or something.
For a first date.
Yeah, and then we like sat there while
A massive fucking fumble.
I saw them wrestle and be sweaty. It was very weird. I went on a second date.
You went on a second date?
Yeah. Because I wanted him to like choke me.
Okay.
Like, I wanted to see if he could like do like a move on me. Like I used to do like karate. I wanted to see if he could try to do that. But then he pulled out his phone and then started texting my friend. He was like, when are we gonna go on a date? Like he said that.
While he was with you.
Yeah. And then he said to me like, oh, maybe we should go like head home. Like, wow.
How is it like being black and dating here in Japan?
A lot of my friends tell me it's easier for me to date out here because they say that a lot of Japanese girls, they find black guys cool. Well, from my experience, it's been easy dating out here. Because I had dreads at the time, and people would tell me they just like the way I rocked it. Yeah, they would just tell me like, you like a guy like that could dance pretty much hip hop. Yeah.
I hate saying this, but if you're a black person, I feel like it's different than if you're maybe white or like mixed or anything else.
How so?
Some people have to be open-minded to like date you. At least that's what I've noticed.
Being black and dating here in Japan, I don't know why people say that, oh, it's impossible for a black guy, oh, they don't like them. There will always be someone here for you. They might not be with you for the right reasons. I mean, if you're not a weirdo, if you're not a creep, and if you're, you know, a decent guy, you don't even need to be a decent guy. There's always going to be a Caucasian hunter.
Caucasian hunter?
There's always, if you go to Roppongi, they'll just show them your skin color, show them the fact that you are black, and they'll be like, okay, this is the aesthetic I like.
First, it was a
and you want to willfully subject yourself to it's like fetishism on steroids.
Some guys being like,
and like over there, political correctness like really is not a thing. So like what they're saying is 100% correct. Like there will people that will just be with you because you're black, and they will flat out say, "I like your blackness."
Never.
It's like over there in these East Asian countries, political correctness is not a thing. They will flat out come up to you and say weird, fucked up shit to you. I want to fuck you because you're black. That's what that will do.
Dealt with chocolate before. Yes, a bunch of guys call me chocolate, but apparently that happens to a lot of girls. One
chocolate
Japanese dude actually told me, I thought that black women were more sexual. Like you guys always want. Who told you that? And he was like, because when I said, oh, I want a relationship, he was like, relationship? You do? I thought you wanted. And it's like, when did I give that indication?
Do you have a bigger dick?
You want, right?
Like,
the stuff that's been told to me or asked to me, like
I wonder what the gay scene in Japan is like.
Literally had a guy in the club come up to me and he was like, are your nipples black?
A lot of people from the US or other countries, they come to Japan just to find a girl, right?
Yes.
Fucking perverts that need to be castrated.
Does that actually exist here in Japan?
It exists in the sense that Japanese people are more accepting of social rejects.
Because they're an entire island full of social rejects. The Japanese are basically the Brits of Asia.
Which means if you're a loser back home, you can come here and find someone who actually thinks you're cool. Doesn't mean that they all think you're cool.
Yeah. But like
and you're probably not going to be cool. But you're more likely to find someone, you know what, you're British. I like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Let's go out on a date. Whereas that's not really going to happen in the UK if you're not really popular. So definitely easier to appeal to them simply because you are different. Oh, I'm white and I have curly hair.
Yeah.
Oh, Harry Styles.
You being black, do you think it helped dating scene here in Japan?
It helps me stand out. Like I can walk into a room and then they'll be like, oh, will.i.am. Oh.
will.i.am. You got will.i.am.
Exactly. No, I got Floyd Mayweather actually. You know, you could be the only black guy in the club, start dancing, and everyone wants to join.
I guess I'd be Samuel L. Jackson then.
Because you're like the only black guy there dancing to hip hop, and it's just like, oh my gosh, a real authentic black guy is here dancing hip hop. I can't believe it. Like Will Smith is actually here. As a white person, you have a little bit more of a chance of appealing to broader, exactly.
Yeah.
But then again, there's a problem with being niche is the fact that you're more likely to get fetishized. If we go to a club in Roppongi where all the women are into hip hop, then it's just like, oh, I love your style, but it's not necessarily I like you. That's what you need to be careful of the people who just like the culture, fetishize the culture a little bit.
Some guy actually did come up to me and was like, you look like hip hop. What does that mean? Also, another guy like in Shibuya, I was like waiting for my friend. He came up to me and like started rapping in Japanese. He's like, you're so beautiful, something, bijin desu yone. And I'm like, okay. I don't know why I look like hip hop to some people. Maybe because I'm black.
I've had a lot of people ask me if they could touch my hair. They ask questions like a lot of sexual questions towards my friends. You know, how big is it down there, stuff like that.
What would you say is like the easiest way for, let's say, foreigners to meet people here today?
Most of my friends go to bars and stuff, but like I'm an introvert, so I don't really go to bars, game center.
Oh yeah, it's extremely cringe. I would not enjoy this.
Most people at game centers are introverts anyway, so it's like kind of harder to like break into those spaces.
Right.
Even like Shibuya is just kind of the place to meet people.
Right.
Well, I actually use Tinder like.
Truman, you are like my weeaboo advisor. Like anytime there's some weeb shit to be talked about, I'm going to hit you up, okay? Because you know about all this stuff. I don't.
2 years ago, I hate it so much. Mainly because like nobody shows their face. They always like blur it, or they show like their car, dog, or like some food. Maybe some people are too embarrassed to show their face on the dating app. I downloaded Tinder, but the thing with Tinder is like they don't have the option for you to choose English. Basically, the only guys that swiped on you were the ones who could speak English, and they were the ones who were like more so practicing. When they wanted to take you out, it was mainly like, oh, I want to meet up for coffee so that you could teach me English.
Random goddamn English teacher.
When I downloaded Bumble, I was able to choose
Actually, if I end up in Japan, it's probably going to be as an English teacher.
English. Half of them were like, oh, like, you know, do you want to go to a hotel later? And then the other half was like, I don't think that I would
Do you think that people in Japan know or care who Gonzalo is?
ever marry a foreigner. So if we date, it's just for like fun. You've talked me up for like months.
Right.
And then you're just like first date or second date, you're like, by the way, I'm not going to take you seriously. Even in the club, like the way they touch me, like a Japanese girl, they'll literally just kind of be like, but with me, they're just like, get on me. And I'm just kind of like, you guys don't ever take us seriously, do you?
You're married here.
Yeah, I'm married, yeah.
So are you married with the foreign girl or Japanese girl?
Half Japanese,
Yeah.
Filipino.
How was like the dating process here in Japan?
We just met up and we pretty much connected because she has like an American
Gonzalo technically was white.
culture around her.
So when you're getting married, you're supposed to like introduce yourself to their parents. Did you have to do that?
I met her parents like a year after.
Why did you wait for a year?
Her parents are very strict. I was told a lot her mom's not going to be okay with it. I was kind of surprised.
Was it because you guys were young, or was it because where you're from, or what was it about?
It's more of where I'm from. But surprisingly, once I met her mom, she was more accepting.
Oh yeah, how did you meet your wife?
I DM'd her on Instagram. Yeah, we just met up at Yokohama. I thought we were going to have like casual date, nothing too crazy. There's like amusement parks. So we get on that, then she's like, let's go to the movie theater. To my expectations, I didn't think we were gonna do nothing crazy. So I didn't bring too much cash.
Okay.
I ended up having to ask her for like transportation and stuff like that. That's one of like, that was embarrassing at first. Yeah, we still ended up getting married.
What the fuck? Well, I will see y'all later. I'm going to go run off and move to Japan.